Guys, I have already created like 1000 videos how to build a software as a service, but in this video I want to explain you the exact same process that I follow on every single call. I mean the process that I follow not only to create my own applications, but also my clients' applications. Applications like the one that you are seeing on the screen right now, okay? Kobo is an app that helps you track all your content across all your social media channels to see which content is performing better and double on the things that are working for you. Another one is Velox, okay? One of the applications that I built on the 2025. This is the same process that I've used for Bacho from Georgia. Okay, you have the video on the screen.
Personally confirms that quiz application is fully functional and working. Justo, you did amazing job, man. Thank you for your work. So we also want you to invite in our team, Tetrium.
I don't want to bore you showing you the thousand things or the thousand apps that I have been building along the way. Anyway, if it's the first time that you are watching me, my name is Justo. I'm in a process of creating 12 apps in 1 year. I recently launched the 5th app and now I'm building the 6th one. This is the 6th time also that I am recording this video because the audio was broken on the previous ones. Anyway, a lot of people come to the call and they are in this situation, okay? They have an idea they have been sitting on. They know it could be a software as a service, but they are not fully confident yet. And what worries you the most typically is not failing. I mean, failing is necessary. It's something that you need to go through in order to achieve what you want. But the problem is that you waste months building something that shouldn't exist. And that's normal, okay? That's the situation I was a couple of years ago when I didn't have the information that I'm going to show you. And the information that I use nowadays to help you go from this to having a software as a service built in just a couple of weeks so you can start testing it and start scaling it if you want. Okay, this process exists to help you with that. So, not to hype ideas, not to validate everything, to move you from confusion to clarity, from excitement to decision. Okay, this is how I run that process in a real call. This is probably where you are right now. Okay, most people arrive with a partially formed idea, a strong gut feeling, some references, a lot of an unspoken assumption. But the truth is that whether the idea is good or bad doesn't matter yet. What matters is this. It's not really to be built yet. And that's not a failure. That's just the 0 to 1 stage, okay? That's the exact same reason why I built this agency, okay? Why I built this thing. I'm not a development agency or any developer that you can talk to. I don't blame them, but I review your idea completely and I don't start your project without defining this. So, as you may already know, the first step is putting the idea in its place. The first thing I do is not to improve the idea. I turn the volume down, okay? Because at this stage, an idea isn't a plan. It's a hypothesis. So we treat it like one. Questions that always come up are, is this one idea or several mixed together? What's the real core versus what's nice to have on the applications? What did you add just to feel better? Because what happens is that a lot of people just add features to feel safer. But projects that work early don't start big. They start clear. Okay, that's the main difference. On the step 2, we find the real problem. A real problem has typically three signals. It happens to a specific person, it has clear consequences, and people already try to solve it today. If one of these is missing, there is a risk. That's why I'll always ask, tell me about the last time this actually happened. Not hypotheticals, not in general. When the problem is real, the explanation is short, it doesn't need a justification, and it's obvious why it matters. You don't need to repeat it every single time, okay? Then we go through the step that a lot of people don't want to go through. Okay, this is the uncomfortable part, but the part where we separate yourself from the competition. Okay, we separate the problem from the solution. A common mistake is that a lot of people describe the solution thinking they are describing the problem. Okay, that's very common on the calls. Just to give you an example, some people come to the call and say, okay, the problem is that there is no tool that, okay, that's already a solution. So we strip it back. We focus on what happens today, what's done manually, and what breaks when it's not solved. If the problem exists without software, the first version usually needs far less software than you think. On the step 5, we define the audience, okay? One person, not a market. Another major breakpoint, okay? Not a founders, not agencies, not business. That's not an audience, okay? We narrow it down to a real person in a real context. So some questions we use are, who feels this pain today? When does it show up in their day? And what else are they responsible for? We are not chasing the biggest market, we are looking for the clearest one. Clarity speeds everything up, okay? By the way, you don't have to do anything. I mean, I take care of 100% of this. The only thing that I need you to do is to provide me the information. On the step 6, this is uncomfortable but necessary. If you try to serve everyone, the message weakens, the product inflates, and decisions slow down. So we choose a sub niche. Choosing a sub niche sharpens the problem, simplifies the product, and accelerates learning. Scaling without focus isn't growth, it's amplified confusion. I mean, you end up confusing yourself. So in step 7, we create the value proposition. Okay, this is very important. I help X achieve Y without Z. I help X achieve Y without Z. Then we define what we will not build, okay? Not for minimalism, but for learning. The less you build, the less you are emotionally attached to the product, and you start justifying yourself for the things you do, and that's where everything breaks, okay? So we make it as easy as possible to start. Because if you pay attention to the patterns that shows up when things work, projects that gain traction early tend to start much smaller than expected, improve something already being done poorly, and unlock a single clear decision. They try to be clearly useful at one moment. And that's the goal, and that's the thing that I want to help you achieve. On step 10, okay, sorry, this is not a step 10, this is the 10th point. Everything leads here, okay? This is one of the most important questions on all the conversation. What is the smallest thing we can build to know whether the idea is true or not, okay? This is where we define the scope. This is where we define the minimum viable product. At this point, two different things can happen, okay? Either you go with a clear map, if you want to build it on your own, either maybe nothing is built because the problem wasn't real, so we move, okay, to a clear problem and a clear value proposition, and we start from there, and I help you turn your idea into a working software as a service. But in what way or another, you live with value. You end up with a smaller but clear idea, a well-defined problem, a specific audience, less noise, and a real decision. Something that decision simplifies is your product, okay? Sometimes the decision is to move forward, often is to stop. So I genuinely hope this video helped you, and this video cleared your mind. The only thing that you need to do if you want me to help you one-on-one creating your app and turning your idea into a working software as a service in just a couple of weeks, so you're gonna start testing it with real users. The only thing that you need to do is go to the comment section and you can book a call with me. It's as simple as that. You provide the information, I take care of everything. You don't need to move a single finger. You can subscribe and hit the like button. In that way we can keep growing this amazing community. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you on the next video.